Good morning. As you can see, I'm dressed in my summer linen suit. Now, my mother taught me that I should never wear white before Easter or after Labor Day. But I kind of wanted to rush the season. You know, Easter has a religious meaning, but it also is a time of rebirth, the birds and the flowers. There's no better time in my memory to pause and think about the fact that we need a new birth and we're looking forward to it. So that's why I rush the season. Now, we all know this is a time of stress. For the next few minutes, let this be Slidell Magazine's and my opportunity to bring a little relief and relaxation to you. I invite you to sit down, relax, forget about those things that are beyond your control, and just listen. Listen as I read you one of the stories from Slidell Magazine collection. Let us begin. The story that I'm about to read you is the very first story I produced for the magazine. In those days, I was asked to do historical pieces. So you will see that this is written in more of a journalistic style, kind of jumpy, kind of jerky. You know, just the facts, sir, just the facts. I think you'll enjoy it. It is a part of Slidell and South Louisiana history. The name of the collection is Friday Porter and His Ditch. Long before Highway 190 existed, and long before River Oaks subdivision was developed, but in that very locale was a community named Starling. Before that, it was an Indian name meaning Rock River. The Indians named it that because of the pearls they found and the mussels that were abundant in the river. This is now the Pearl River, and this area is where Friday Porter lived. Friday Porter was born in 1811 in South Carolina. He was the son of a wealthy plantation owner named David Porter, and his mother was a slave owned by Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter also had a large parcel of land on the Pearl River and including the area known as Starling. Even though Friday was technically a slave owned by Mr. Porter, he was also his son and was shown preferential treatment, or maybe not. Possibly, Mr. Porter was just a benevolent and kind slave owner. For whatever reason, Friday was given the opportunity to move to Louisiana and work the plantation located near there. He would be given his freedom and a considerable parcel of land. It is believed that he arrived in Louisiana about 1830 and settled in the Indian Village Road area. The vast network of rivers, streams, and bayous were common means of transportation all over South Louisiana, and this area was no different. Before long, Friday met Anna. She lived in Pearlington, Mississippi, and was an African American and Native American descent. This made her a free woman. Unfortunately, the only practical way to visit her was to paddle, probably in a cypress dugout, from the West Pearl River down Mill Bayou to the East Pearl River, and then back up to Pearlington. Late in the afternoon, just before sunset, and after a hard day's work, Friday would set out on his journey. At first, since he was in love smitten with Anna, the long and tiring trip was worth it, even worth all the mosquitoes and other insects that must have been prevalent in the swamp at that time. As time passed, the long trip grew old, but his love for Anna did not. Friday looked for a means to make his journey shorter. With a pick and shovel, he waded into the swamp, fending off the insects, snakes, and the alligators. Unearthing the stubborn cypress knees, he dug a ditch from Mill Bayou to the East Pearl River. It was a small ditch then. It was just wide enough to get a canoe through, and I remember it as it was shown to me in 1973. That's how I learned the story of Friday's Ditch. Friday married Anna and raised a large family that continues to be a prominent part of our community. In 1871, Friday died and is buried in the Porter Cemetery near his home. There's a monument to his memory, and his descendants proudly tell his story, the story of Friday Porter, his love for Anna, and his ditch.